Hey guys, this is Jessica Gutierrez with Clean With Me podcast. This is a podcast where I walk you through cleaning your house step by step. So let's clean together. Hey, happy Sunday. I hope you guys are doing good today. I hope you're in a cleaning mood. I'm actually going to do some major decluttering today myself, so I thought I'd talk about decluttering a little bit more today. I did a mini episode on decluttering before, kind of, but I'm going to go more in depth this time, talk about different things we could do to make it easier, the things that I like to do and implement in my life. But it's ultimately whatever works for you, whatever fits your lifestyle and your needs, because we all have different family sizes, we all have different households, structures, hot spots, so there's different things that we all struggle with. And I'm going to speak on what I struggle with and what helps me, and you can decluttering is pretty much the same whether you're dealing with clothing, kitchen utensils, tools, whatever, it's the same basic concepts. So whatever you struggle with personally, it doesn't have to be clothing. That's just what I struggle with. Just apply it to that. So if you're having trouble figuring out whether you should spend the time and declutter something or where to start, think to whatever is the thing that gives you the most trouble. That, like, say you have trouble finding an outfit for your kid or for yourself because you have too many clothes in the drawer. And that's the one thing that every day you go get clothing out of the drawer and you just, can't find anything. Well, that should be the sign to you to start on clothing and to at least write it down, create a time in which you can declutter, and you can even time yourself. Maybe allow yourself 60 minutes a day or less than that, whatever fits your lifestyle. If I'm fully devoted to decluttering the whatever area you need to work on, like your clothing or whatever. But as far as where to start, like I said, wherever is an issue for you, it could be your kitchen cabinets, it could be maybe your bathroom stuff. Maybe your bathroom drawers are just all over the place. It's become just a, catch-all for everything. Everybody just shoves everything underneath your bathroom cabinets. Well, then, and every day it's hard for you to find your things to get ready. Well, then that would be your place to start. And you can get to all of it eventually. I'm just saying, as far as which one to do first, do whatever thing bothers you the most. But I'm going to get right into it. I told you I struggle with clothing, so I like to implement the one in, one out rule. So say I buy a couple outfits for my kids, I want to go and remove 2 outfits that are stained, damaged, they don't wear anymore. There's always those outfits that sit in your drawers and you always see them and have to move them around and go through them when you're looking for an outfit, but you literally never wear them or your kids have never worn them once. Those are the type of things that need to be donated and put in a pile. What I like to do is I like to get 2 bags, baskets, whatever. I'm kind of ghetto, so I guess I just use trash bags. But I get a trash bag for keeping clothes, a trash bag for trash, like clothes that are really damaged, and then a keeping pile. I put, the clothes that are still in good condition but never get worn in the donate pile. I put, the trash in the trash, etc. And the keeping pile I will put away and organize the drawers accordingly. And a lot of times I'll get to this point, I'll have all of my clothes that I'm going through at the time. You don't have to do your entire wardrobe in one sitting. If you have that kind of time, then great. If you're on a time constraint, maybe just do a drawer a day until it's done. But yeah, once I have my clothes in those piles of, the donate, trash, and keep, I usually go through my keep again because I'm kind of a hoarder when it comes to clothes. That's my weak spot. with kids' clothes, anything. I want to keep anything and everything and just carry it around. And it's so annoying that I do that. But so I know myself. So I will go through the keep pile a second time and think about whether I actually wear an item or I'm just trying to keep it just because I think I might wear it one day, even though I haven't worn it for 2 years. Now, we all have items that are like out of season or something that are just for special events. And for those type of things, I believe in, especially I have a very small house and limited space, so I utilize under my bed for, I have these little cheap storage containers. I think I got them from this store called Five Below. It's like a kid's store, and they have these little 4 packs of these, organizers, I guess they're called. And I put my clothes that are out of season or for special events in those and put them underneath my bed. And then once it's cold again, I'll cycle back and cycle back the winter clothes in and put my summery clothes, bathing suits and whatnot underneath the bed. But yeah, as far as the buying something, an item, and then getting rid of an item method, that's very good at maintaining after, you've gone through your clothes so it won't get bad again. Just, get rid of something every time you buy something new. And that's a good way to maintain and not let it get super bad in the first place. Decluttering is essentially just making less work for yourself because if you have too many things to go through, too many items in any particular area, it's going to get out of hand. Like, for instance, I think we can all relate to having struggles with, like, having random cords or chargers, like, from the Stone Age that we carry around to new houses. Like, I have this box of cords that we have brought from, like, 3 different houses we've moved into. And it stays in the garage. We never touch it. So I just recently got rid of it. And it's like, why are we carrying around these cords if we've carried them to like 3 different houses and none of them have ever gotten used? They're clearly never going to get used again. We don't know what they're getting used for. Like, cords, wires, whatever. Or maybe like you have like a junk drawer or a drawer for like miscellaneous things in your kitchen and there's just a bunch of random cords that don't go to anything. You can use this opportunity to get rid of them or make lists. Remember I said I'm really big on making lists. If you think of something and you don't have the time at that moment, write it down and put it on the refrigerator or wherever you see it for later. But yeah, I was reading some articles about decluttering, and that one struck a chord with me, literally. That was punny. Because I had those miscellaneous cords everywhere. I got rid of them because, yeah, that was ridiculous. But I do still have some random ones in my, we call it a junk drawer here, but my miscellaneous drawer that I need to get rid of. So that's going to go on my to-do list for today. And on the topic of utilizing spaces like under the bed, also like on top of cabinets, but put them, if you're going to put stuff on top of cabinets, especially if they're in the line of sight, just make sure to get like cheap storage containers and maybe put them on top so it looks less cluttery and looks, because I know a lot of us don't have a lot of space. If you do have a cabinet, preferably put your things in the cabinets. But if you can't and you need to put stuff, like sometimes I need to put some things on top of my cabinets, but I try to put them in a cute container if at all possible. That way it doesn't look as trashy. Out of sight, out of mind, and where you can find it is the goal when it comes to decluttering. So this is one I read that I don't do that I'm going to start doing. I read in an article that it said designate a place for your clutter to go. And for instance, what that means is like, say you bought some curtains or I don't know, some miscellaneous thing, and you're not gonna deal with it for a couple days. You have like a designated shelf for just like a catch-all of things that you don't have a place for quite yet. Like, okay, I just bought the sound system. Instead of sitting it on your dining room table or your coffee table and it just being out for everything, like have a small designated area that's out of sight, out of mind that you put things like that. That way your table doesn't become a catch-all because that's just ugly and it makes your house look cluttery. And I'm talking about like a designated area for things you're going to use within the next couple days. Don't just put random junk there that's never going to be touched again. Because then you'll have just another cluttery space just off in the corner somewhere. This is stuff like decor or just stuff you buy or stuff that, you're going to use in the near future. But would go on the coffee table, but instead you're just going to put it out of sight so it's not in the way. Those of us that have little babies already kind of do that in a way. Since I have little kids, most of my clutter goes on my kitchen cabinet because it's a little bit, my kitchen countertops because it's a little bit higher and less accessible to my kids. But I need to start putting those things like off in a bedroom instead of just the first place I see on because when you walk into my house, you see my kitchen counters, and that's not the place that I need to be setting everything. And like I said, it's all about how your brain works. If you get overwhelmed by seeing large piles, see, for me, if I like grab everything I own, and it depends. I'm back and forth on this because I've done it different ways, different times. Sometimes, I'll get all of my clothing if I have a very long amount of time and have somebody watching my kids, which is rare. I'll take everything I own, put it on the bed because, you have to use your bed. So that's incentive for me to get everything organized by the time it's bedtime. So I'll put like all my clothes on the bed and then I'll go through every single one, put it in piles. Like I said, get the keeping pile twice because I like to hoard stuff. And that's an incentive to do that. Or you could just set a timer, take about one drawer at a time of your clothing while the timer is going on until the timer goes off. If you have, minimal time or just have kids and don't think you can tackle your whole entire wardrobe or room in one bathroom or whatever it is you're organizing in one day. But I go back and forth between doing everything and putting everything on the bed, or I just do a drawer at a time. But the reason I do that, like I said, it's good to put it in a space that, it can't stay. Like, it's the same reason I fold my laundry on the couch, because I know I have to put that laundry away. Otherwise, people are going to show up to my house and my clean underwear are going to be sitting on the couch. That has happened. And that's just more incentive for me to put it away right after I fold it. Because if I don't, it sits out and then company comes and sees my undergarments. So that's another tip that I have is while you're decluttering a space, maybe put everything you're working with in an area like a couch or a bed where you know that you have to finish it before the day is up because you're going to have to like sleep in the bed or sit on the couch or, etc. Either that or you can allow yourself a certain amount of time that you're going to work on it per day. If you're somebody that has a really hard time with letting go, I have a tip for you. Get a friend or family member that you know is good at organizing or that is good at getting rid of clutter, or just somebody that, is somebody from the outside with an outside opinion, and ask them can you sit with me while I go through these things, and then have them weigh in on whether something should be kept or if it's something you don't really need. Because sometimes it's a little bit hard for ourselves to let go of things, especially if you don't have many things. I know, like, when I was younger and I was kind of moving house to house, I I didn't have that many things. The only thing I had was my clothing, mainly that was mine when I was younger. And I remember I would keep every article of clothing that I ever got for years, even if I didn't wear it, just because I had this thing in my head where I really, had to hold on to this clothing because it's all I had. And, I understand that you maybe have a weird attachment to clothing or makeup or just whatever clutter it is you struggle with. So it might help to have an outside opinion or an outside person sit with you and just kind of weigh in on what you need and what you don't need. Also, something I love to do is to take before and after videos. If you're decluttering a space like your kitchen, I mentioned before that we tend to accumulate things on top of our cabinets, and so that's a space that often gets decluttered in our house. And I like to take before and after pictures, especially if it's clutter in your living room or your closet, say your closet's overrun or something. It's really motivating to do that just to see how much you accomplished. And I do that even in your regular cleaning. I would recommend, if your house is a complete disaster and you're so upset about it and you're like, man, how did I let it get this bad? Take a picture. Put on my podcast, clean the entire house, bust your butt, and then when you are done, take a picture of the finished product, and I'm telling you, it is very satisfying. It'll make you feel good about yourself, and it'll give you an incentive, like, okay, I'm going to take an after picture, so I need to hurry up and clean this house. Like I said, it's all about tricking your mind. But that's a very good tip for decluttering also. Take a picture of your big heaping pile of clothes or your overrun closet, and then take a picture after. Or a drawer. Take a picture of your messy, crazy drawers, and then afterwards take a picture after and see how it looks after you've done your magic on it. And I will post some in my Patreon. I've posted a before and after, before an embarrassing one. Not the worst my house has ever been. For those that follow me on Patreon, that was bad, but not as bad as it has been. My kids know how to trash a house and know how to trash it fast. If you have a small living space or a large one, and you have kids of any age, especially, teenagers are a different kind of messy. I have a toddler messy, so it's just they like to destroy. They like to tear up everything. So, I will be posting some more, though, on my Patreon. I'll post some more embarrassing before and afters because I really do just take them because it motivates me. Also, when it comes to decluttering, it's good to have a method to your madness. It's good to go in with a plan. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do it this way. I'm going to do it in this amount of time. If you come in with no preconceived plan, then you're more likely to get discouraged. So write it down, right? I'm going to go through all of my kitchen cabinets and organize them. I'm going to do left to right or right to left or whatever. And I'm going to do pots and pans first, this, that. Go in with a plan and then do that plan. And if you do that, you will be more likely to finish. Because to have an organized house, you need to organize your thoughts and organize in your mind and on paper. I highly suggest using paper and pen and just, putting a plan and writing down what needs to be done, a hotspot. Also, if you're thinking to yourself, I'm not really sure what I need to declutter, I know my house is cluttery, but I just don't know where to start. Maybe you don't know what the worst area of your house is. You're just like, I don't know. I just need help. Get an outside opinion. Have somebody that doesn't live in your house, or maybe even someone that does, maybe your husband, your wife, your partner, whatever, kid, anybody, and just be like, look around this house, and do you see an area that's cluttered and needs tend to? Is there any area in my house that looks bad or needs to be tended to? Usually we know on our own, but maybe it helps to have somebody else say. Get an outside opinion. I also read that when it comes to clothes, if you organize by color and type of clothing, that you'll notice how many of one thing you have. So once you've, weeded down everything to just the things you want to keep, like I said, I have to go in there second, maybe third time because I keep too many things. Organize them in your closet, maybe hang them up by type and color, and then when you realize, hey, I have 15 white shirts, I'm guilty of that. I have 15 very similar shirts, that I love and I want to keep all of them. Maybe I should weed these down a little bit because I don't need 15 shirts that all look the same. So that's a good strategy also if you are like me and have trouble getting rid of clothing. Just if you organize it that way, you'll be able to see what you have 1,000 of. And when it comes to like kitchen decluttering, bathroom decluttering, everything needs to have a home. And if you have limited storage and you find there's 1,000 items on your countertop that don't have a home, maybe that's your sign to either put it in a drawer. If you don't have a drawer, if you have too many people in your house, too many things that need to be organized, get some kind of organization bin or device. There's little things with little sections in it for makeup and tools and, stuff like that. So either get some kind of organizing mechanism to put it in. That way it's not just laying all over your countertop looking a mess. It'll have a home, and preferably a place that's a covered home, like a box or some kind of organizing apparatus to put it in. Just everything needs a home, and if you don't have space for everything to have a home, then you need to get rid of some things. But for example, if you always, like me, I'm guilty, have mail and things like that constantly just overtaking your kitchen or table or whatever, then get in a little apparatus to put the mail in. That way it looks better and it's more compact and it's not overrunning your kitchen. I need to do that. But look around, look at your kitchen, and is there something on your kitchen cabinet that needs a home? Is there something that isn't supposed, like, what is that doing sitting there? Okay, that's just try to clear up as much space as humanly possible. Keep only things on the countertop that you're using every single day. Like, I use my Keurig every day, so I keep that on my kitchen counter. That's something that I think deserves space because I always have to have my cup of coffee. But my Instapot did have a home on the countertop for a while, and I'm like, okay, I'm not using that every night, so I can go ahead and put that away and just pull it out every time I use it because that's just being lazy. I was having it out for like 4 days because I just didn't want to reach down and pull it out of the cabinet. So I was like, this looks bad and it's taking up all of my counter space. I can't even cook or anything in here. So just stuff like that. Kitchen appliances or mail or just knickknacks. Maybe you have too many knickknacks. Maybe your decor is just all over the place. Mix it up. Take some, if you are somebody that likes collecting signs and decor and maybe it's getting a little cluttery in your house, put some of that up, put it in a box and put it in the garage maybe, and then just mix it up and switch it out with your other decor in a few months or something like that. It'll mix up your house and it'll keep you from having your house looking too cluttery. I myself don't have this problem just because I'm more of a minimalist when it comes to decor, but if you do have an obsession, I know my friend has a thing for buying knickknacks and stuff for her house. She's all about it, but she switches them out, for holidays and for just different seasons and stuff. And even if it's not seasonal, even if you just have maybe too many just regular decorations or knickknacks for your home, just take some of them and put them in the garage and just change them out like that. And then it'll also just be a fresh, nice way to mix up your house. But also set realistic decluttering goals for yourself. Don't do it all in one day if you have a complete disaster and cluttery home that's going to take you, a while, and you don't want to get discouraged. So just take it one step at a time. If like my house right now needs a decluttering session big time, but I'm one to get overwhelmed very easily. So I'm going to do one section at a time. I'm going to do my laundry area. I have shelves in my laundry area. The second shelf I put all my towels, but my first shelf is kind of like miscellaneous things. So that I need to declutter. I'm going to do that one day, but then another day I might do my kitchen, cabinets, just I'm going to take it one step at a time, one drawer at a time. You just grab one drawer, empty it, put it into piles, keep, not keep, put away in a different place, throw away. Always throw away your trash first when decluttering an area. Then decide what you're going to keep, what you're going to throw away, and then organize it and put it away in an organized fashion. And that is the best way to do things. And then move on to the next drawer, do the same thing. Throw away the trash, put it into piles of keep, non-keep, or maybe. If you organize something and maybe you're not sure whether you should get rid of them, maybe have a box that says maybe. And I read this in an article too, and I thought this wasn't a good idea because, like I said, sometimes I'm not sure about something. So if you're not sure whether you should keep something or throw it away, put it in a maybe box, put it away for a little bit, come back to it later, maybe have a friend help you, like I said, and see if you really need those things. That way maybe you don't have to go through the entire keep pile, just you have a maybe pile of things that you're not really sure about, that you can go through later and decide what you want to keep and give away. And when you're decluttering, like I said, you want to plan it out, but you also want to set a time and a date. Set a little time for yourself where you're going to focus on decluttering. It's something that you can't really multitask when doing because it'll end up getting pushed to the side. So definitely set a time and a date and a time frame that you're going to declutter. Otherwise, it's not going to happen. And it's just really hard to multitask while you're decluttering. Think of a time where you're just by yourself and you have time to do one or two drawers or whatever it is you're going to do, and then do it. Organization is key. You got to organize your thoughts and your plans and your strategy, and then you'll have an organized home. And this episode's for myself because my brain is super scattered. It's all over the place. I do not have an organized brain. I am not an organized person by any means. So I really do have to write down everything I do and make lists and really set an allotted time. I'm at this day, on this time, I'm going to do this. On this day, this time, I'm going to do that. I have to write it down, and that's just, my brain doesn't compute in an organized way. I'm not an organized person, so I really have to try hard to stay organized and write lists and make plans. So if you're like me, definitely write it down and make a date for yourself, a decluttering date. And on the last note, look for storage in unexpected spots, like I had mentioned, under the bed, but also just anywhere that's discreet and hidden and out of sight, because you just want things out of sight and organized. Out of sight, out of mind. You don't want to be seeing your things. You want to put as many things away and hide them as well as possible. So I'm all about storage containers, those little cloth box storage containers. I have tons of those. They're very good at hiding things. They're good for socks and miscellaneous things. I use those to keep things out of sight. And if you don't have the space for it, if there's nowhere in your house for space, try getting some shelving or maybe a hanging rack. Like if you're having trouble with space in your kitchen, you can have a rack to hang your utensils and pots and pans and stuff like that. And then it might look, decorative and also be functional as well if you have like too many utensils and not enough space in your drawer. But thank you all for listening. I'm not the expert in decluttering, but it's pretty simple if you think about it. I think like with most things, the hardest part's getting started. The hardest part is getting a plan and actually executing the plan and actually just starting on it. And so I am going to use all the tips I gave you guys today, and I'm going to do some organizing myself. My clothes need to be organized again because I'm running out of space, and I'm like, why did I just purge my clothes and I still don't have space for my clothes? Because I kept a bunch of things that I do not wear and I should have gotten rid of it. So I'm going to do another purge of my clothing and of my kids' clothing because it needs it. And probably another purge of their toys too because they still have way too many toys and not enough compared to what they actually play with. So I'm going to implement these today. I hope you guys do too. I'm going to post some before and afters soon on my Patreon. I'll put the link for that in the description. Also, if you don't follow my Facebook page, it's at Clean With Me Podcast on Facebook and Instagram. And also my art page is at Jessica's Custom Work, all lowercase, on Facebook and Instagram. I do custom vans, custom shoes, custom portraits, etc. And then, like I said, I'll put my link for my Patreon in the comment and in the description. As always, happy cleaning!